Hello, hello. It's Miss Martin. I am back with another story before we go out for summer. This is a very well-known story. I don't think I've read it and uploaded it to my YouTube, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I hope that you enjoy. It is the story of Ferdinand, and that is by Monroe Leaf. So, Ferdinand is a bull, and whether you know or don't know, bulls are not all bulls, but a lot of bulls are made for fighting. That's called bullfighting, or some of them also, people will ride bulls and stuff like that. So, we're reading this story about Ferdinand, and he is a bull, but Ferdinand is a very different bull. He would rather sit and smell the flowers, it says, than fight in the bull ring. So if you've never seen a bullfight or cowboys riding bulls, you could always look that up on YouTube as well, so you know what bulls usually do, and then you can listen to the story and see how different Ferdinand is from every other bull. I said bird. So the story of Ferdinand by Monroe Leaf. Once upon a time in Spain, so this is across the world, across all the oceans, in Spain. And bull riding and bullfighting is very, very popular in Spain and other Spanish countries. There was a little bull, and his name was Ferdinand. All the other little bulls he lived with would run and jump and butt their heads together. So there's some bulls, and they're about to run into each other, which is essentially part of the bullfighting, but not Ferdinand. He liked to sit just quietly and smell the flowers. He had a favorite spot out in the pasture and under a cork tree. It was his favorite tree, and he would sit in its shade all day and smell the flowers. So there you see two bulls fighting. And then there's Ferdinand under the tree smelling the flowers. I feel like if I were a bull, I'd be Ferdinand. Sometimes his mother, who was a cow, would worry about him. She was afraid he would be lonesome all by himself. Why don't you run and play with the other little bulls and skip and butt your head, she would say. But Ferdinand would shake his head. I like it better here, where I can just sit quietly and smell the flowers. His mother saw that he was not lonesome, and because she was an understanding mother, even though she was a cow, she let him sit there and be happy. As the years went by and Ferdinand grew and grew until he was very big and strong, all the other bulls who had grown up with him in the same pasture would fight each other all day. They would butt each other and stick each other with their horns. What they wanted most of all was to be picked to fight at the bullfights in Madrid. So Madrid is in Spain, and all the bulls were practicing to be picked for the bullfight. But not Ferdinand. He still liked to just sit quietly under the cork tree and smell the flowers. One day, 5 men came in very funny hats to pick the biggest, fattest, roughest bull to fight in the bullfights in Madrid. So these 5 men came in, and it's time to pick the biggest, toughest, fattest, strongest bull for the bullfights. All the other bulls ran around snorting and butting, leaping and jumping, so the men would think that they were very, very strong and fierce and pick them. Ferdinand knew that they wouldn't pick him, and he didn't care. So he went out to his favorite cork tree and sat down. What do you think is going to happen? He didn't look where he was sitting, and instead of sitting on the nice cool grass in the shade, he sat on a bumblebee. Well, if you were a bumblebee and a bull sat on you, what would you do? You would sting him, and that is just what this bee did to Ferdinand. So Ferdinand accidentally sat on this bee, and it stung him. Wow, did it hurt. Ferdinand jumped up with a snort. He ran around puffing and snorting, butting and pawing the ground as if he were crazy. The 5 men saw him, and they all shouted with joy. Here was the largest and fiercest bull of all, just the one for the bullfights in Madrid. So he got stung by a bee, and he's going crazy because it hurt really, really bad. And all these men who came to pick out a bull for the bullfight said, that's the one. So they took him away for the bullfight day in a cart. What a day it was. Flags were flying, bands were playing, and all the lovely ladies had flowers in their hair. They had a parade into the bull ring. First came the banderillos with long sharp pins with the ribbons on them to stick in the bull and make him mad. Next came the picadores, who rode skinny horses, and they had long spears to stick in the bull and make him madder. Then came the matador, the proudest of all. He thought he was very handsome and bowed to the ladies. He had a red cape and a sword and was supposed to stick the bull last of all. Then came the bull, and you know who that was, don't you? Ferdinand. They called him Ferdinand the Fierce, and all the banderilleros were afraid of him, and the picadores were afraid of him, and the matador was scared still. So all these men who were supposed to be poking him and prodding him and making him mad were very scared of him. Ferdinand ran to the middle of the ring, and everyone shouted and clapped because they thought he was going to fight fiercely and butt and snort and stick his horns around. But not Ferdinand. When he got to the middle of the ring, he saw the flowers and all the lovely ladies' hair, and he just sat down quietly and smelled. He wouldn't fight and be fierce no matter what they did. He just sat and smelled. And the banderilleros were mad, and the picadores were madder, and the matador was so mad he cried because he couldn't show off his cape and sword. So they had to take Ferdinand home. And for all I know, he is sitting there still, under his favorite cork tree, smelling the flowers just quietly. He is very happy. So there's the story of Ferdinand, a very happy bull who got taken where he didn't want to go, and then brought back because he didn't do what they wanted him to do. So hope you enjoyed it and have a great day. Bye.